Hey, what's up, you guys? It's BD Warrior, and I could finally do a review for the new Goosebumps show where it's meant to be done. And you want to know my review for the new episode 9 that came out? That's it. That's all it takes. What, you were expecting more? No. That's it. This new episode, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. This new episode is getting the Hall of Fame Doo-Doo GARBAGIO Stinker Award. And I mean it with every bit of my heart. This episode is trash. Garbage, terrible writing. It ruined any bit of hope that they had for anything going in season 2. Episode 9 has the objectively worst writing I've ever seen in my life. It ruins Mr. Brat's character. It's got mellow teen drama again, except even more cringe and even more in your face. It's got parent relationship filler. They did not do anything this episode. Barely even talked about anything, except for Nora marrying the guy that she had an affair with, which will make Lucas and Margot step-siblings. Alabama's having a field day, but I'm not. Listen, and fourth of all, those who are looking forward to next episode, God bless y'all, because that is not going to be the case. What you were expecting for next episode and possibly season 2, if for some God forbidden reason it managed to get renewed, that's not going to happen, y'all. This requires the Doo-Doo X2 potion. You see the symbol. Of course I brought it today because I'm talking about episode 9. Episode 9 is getting the Hall of Fame Doo-Doo GARBAGIO Stinker Award. All right, I talked about it last week. There was a raccoon that took a shit in my trash can, my recycling trash can, and it's been there for God knows how many months. It was cooking in the sun. I opened up that trash can by mistake, and I got a whiff of the most horrible thing I ever smelled in my life. And it gave me the real example of how I feel after watching episode 9 of the Goosebumps 2023 show. This is terrible, awful, stinks, cringe. I promise you, if you have not seen this episode, oh my, it's terrible, awful, Jesus, I don't know where to start. Well, you're probably wondering why I skipped episode 8. You want to know my review for episode 8? Not the worst thing in the world, okay? It's a long, meandering chase scene that's drawn out. It has a decent climax and ending. I thought it has some nice emotional impact to it, although it would have hit 20,000 times harder if the show was actually good and built up to something, which it did not. So that you don't need to worry about. But then, when you think that it's done, when you're like, you know what, this is a good conclusion to the arc, Biddle's arc is over, we can move on, that should have been the last episode of the show, of course you gotta get more garbage and more trash. They think I'm a possum out here. I'm not trying to eat that trash up. They think that we raccoons out here. Don't make that joke. You won't get in trouble. But listen, man. I know I got the raccoon eyes, but I ain't no raccoon. I'm not out here eating up the garbage. I'm just suffering through the stank. And this is going in the Hall of Fame Toilet Award. Yo, if I had a shelf full of the worst, most disgusting porta potties that I've ever experienced in my life, this is going to be the main center attraction. This is posted up in there. I'm going to put the poster of the show up in there. I got to make that at some point, and all the worst pieces of fiction I write are going to be up on that wall, up on that exhibit. This is going to be in there. Because episode 8 could have been a somewhat okay finish. But you gotta continue on with the bullshit. And that's episode 9. What is episode 9 about? Boy, Mr. Brat gets his character completely ruined. They completely fucked over his character. He makes the worst decision I've ever seen in my life. The worst character direction that I've ever seen in my life. This man decides to become a writer. He's trying to be the next Stephen King. He starts writing a book about the events that happened to him. All of him and the teenagers. He starts talking about an event that happened to him, inside of a book. so he can make profit off of it because he's got to pay the bills. And you know what? That part I respect. You got to pay the bills. You got to avoid the tax collector. And if you don't want your ex Felicia running off on you, you got to make sure to pay that water bill because, listen, when she had to go to work without showering for at least 4 days, it was rough. But that's not my fault. Times were tough. Anyway, Mr. Brad's a writer. He's out here trying to be some fake-ass Stephen King, more like M.D. Spencer with his level of writing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he tries being a writer. Apparently that's a big dream of his, even though that was not established in any of the previous episodes. I think it was barely hinted in the GYG one. However, it's nothing significant, okay? Nothing significant. And then it becomes this big plot point, and it becomes such a big plot point that apparently back in the day, he was living somewhere else aside from Port Lawrence 6 months ago. He couldn't pay the bills. He has a dog named Fifi. That's right. He owns a dog, a white poodle named Fifi. This is where Fifi appears, y'all. Not in the GYG episode, where Fifi is meant to appear. She appears in this episode. I don't know why. I don't fucking know why. I'm getting indigestion from talking about this stupid plotline. But Fifi is his dog. Fifi is shown in this episode, and Fifi gets run over because while he's trying to talk to the bill collector, yeah, for real, the bill collector appears. Not even kidding this time. Fifi runs out into the street and gets run over. And then he moves over to Port Lawrence because he finds out that he had a house inherited to his name, which turned out to be the Biddle house. And as he moves in, you know the rest of the story, and he writes a book about it. However, when he talks about publishing this book, the potential publishing company, I think over in New York or somewhere, basically says you have to rewrite the ending. But if you rewrite the ending, we're going to publish your series and you could be the next big hit. You could be the next big author out there. So that's what they promote to him. And right away, he decides, you know what, I can't figure out an ending. He's trying everything. He's trying to find inspiration. He's listening to R.L. Stein's podcast about how to be a good writer. I'm sorry, R.L. Stein, that you had to get dragged into this. I thought they would have let you breathe without making a cameo, but they couldn't. And since he's not figuring out anything, he decides to do the most logical decision ever, which is find Slappy from the snowy ditch that they dumped him down. And he reads out the magic words to revive Slappy so Slappy can come up with a new ending to the story. What type of fucking stupid ass logic is that? You saw what this fucking dummy did to these kids, to these parents, to you, and yet you're here and you're testing my patience. You're really testing my patience, Mr. Brad. Justin Long, you were supposed to be the saving grace of the show, and you pulling this doodle garbaggio, this triceratops shit, these raccoon farts, these poison ivy condoms, like, you know what I mean? The worst thing possible. This is like pumping out kidney stones the size of Bakugan balls. I mean, seriously. Why am I dealing with this? Why am I suffering through this? This man got his entire life thrown into a 180 in the worst way possible by Biddle and Slappy. The teenagers suffered at the hands of Slappy and Biddle. The parents suffered at the hands of Slappy and Biddle. Why are you finding Slappy? Why are you... Bro, this is like a serial killer stalking your friends, your acquaintances, your loved ones. They get stabbed. They get stalked. They get harassed. They get traumatized. You get all those things as well. And then you decide to write a book about the serial killer and what he did to you and all those people so you can profit off of it. And because you can't find out an ending to the story or get the right amount of monologue and writing in there, you decide to find the serial killer, break him out of jail, bring him to your house, and then have him talk to you about what you could do with the rest of the story. Mr. Brad is a fucking idiot. His character... They ruined it. Trash, Garbaggio. Holy cow. That is objectively the worst thing that they could have done with this character. I mean, seriously. How illogical is that type of thinking? How illogical is that decision making? to willingly bring back the big villain just so you can make some money off of some writing, which you could have gotten help from anybody in. Holy cow, you suck, Mr. Bratt. That's not even the worst part. Then you get this road trip with these kids. First of all, Mr. Bratt tries to insert himself and tag along with the kids in their road trip. A little bit creepy, but this show doesn't care. And as they go on this road trip, you get some more cringy relationship, mellow teen drama shit. You end up at this cringy party in Seattle where, like, the kids are shocked that people party and people do stuff, and this girl starts talking to them about some like queer conversation or whatever, like how to accept queerness, and apparently she does art, and they're like so shocked by it. They're like, what? You talk about queerness? You do art? You're the most interesting person that I've ever seen in my life. You're like a real life Aztec god. I'm like, who wrote this shit? I can't say AI wrote this. This is not AI who wrote this. No, this is the author, the creator of I Am Not Starfire. Yeah, apparently the person who wrote I Am Not Starfire apparently had to do with this episode. It was involved with this episode. That explains a lot, because I Am Not Starfire is... trash, garbage. Alright? Y'all. This episode, y'all. Mellow teen drama. Stupid dialogue. Stupid characters. Lucas is like the only one actually going through something. And even him feels like a little bit of overacting. I mean, I get it. Margot's gonna move away to Seattle. That's, you know what I'm saying, a relationship going on. But your parents are married and you're gonna be step siblings. So you might want to figure that out before you go through with it. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are step siblings. Please. I don't need relationship drama between some step siblings. Lord have mercy. Lucas's mom marries the guy she has an affair with. No questions asked, just marries him. Lord have mercy. Jesus. Slappy comes back to life. That's another plot line in this episode later on. And you know how he comes back to life? Of course, Mr. Bratt reads off the spell. However, Mr. Bratt, for some reason, has a taxidermied version of Fifi up on his wall mantle. Your dog got ran over, and you made a taxidermied, stuffed statue on your wall. Out of plot convenience, of course. Does that make any sense? No. Is that weird as shit? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And then, oh boy. He reads out the spell. Slappy comes to life. Fine and dandy. That's okay. Fifi comes to life. Bitch, what? Huh? Wait, what? Huh? Fifi comes to life. Fifi's getting reanimated like Victor Frankenstein's monster up in this bitch. Is that what's going on? Is this supposed to be a play on Frankenstein's dog? The cover that wasn't even related to the book? Is that what this is? Dead dogs? Dead dogs still fetch? Is that what this is? Dead dogs still fetch? No, dead dogs still fucking piss me off. That's what this shit should be called. Why is Fifi alive? Why does Karu Mari Adana spell wake up Fifi? Why is Fifi just thriller, yeah. Fifi's coming to life, bro. I thought she was about to start, you know what I'm saying, hit that thriller, there's no thriller, yeah. We come to life. It's bullshit. This ain't a hit. Come on, bro. Why is Fifi alive according to Slappy's awakening spell? When has Slappy's spell ever had that kind of power? Forget the books. In the show, when could he do that? When was that a thing? Was it a thing? 2 words. Fuck. No. Wasn't a thing. It's a thing now. And on top of that, Fifi doesn't even come back as a dog. Fifi comes back as the vampire dog. So apparently Slappy's spell can reawaken the dead and turn them into vampires. Which makes sense because me talking about this any further is draining the life out of me. Lord have mercy. And then you get Kondu. That's right. Fifi and Slappy gaslight, and blackmail basically Mr. Brat to dig up Kandu's corpse. He brings in the coffin. He opens it up, sees Kandu's corpse. I thought he was about to start smashing the corpse. I thought he was about to get freaky deaky in the dicky dickies with the corpse. Because at this point, I thought, how else are they going to ruin Mr. Brat's character? Well, he starts digging them graves. He's trying to go 6 feet under, or should I say 6 inches under. You know what I mean? Listen, man. Listen, man. Is that how he's going to reanimate it to life? Listen, man. He reads the spell. He reads the spell that the great-grandfather of Biddle was about to read, but stopped himself because he saw this destructive future ahead of him. Decides to read it, all because he wants to be the next Stephen King. And then as he reads it, Kandu comes to life, and Kandu tells him, you're going to become the next Stephen King. Psych, that's not what happens. Kandu, of course, comes to life because Kandu's spirit is trapped inside of Slappy, which I thought was a decent idea. I think that's pretty cool. I like Kandu as a villain, but this whole thing is lazily done. It is straight lazy, dog. And Kandu comes to life. The spirit comes out of Slappy. Pause. The Holy Spirit, in this case, popping out. You know what I'm saying? Slappy's gone, so for all you Slappy fans, Slappy's done. He barely got any screen time. Barely did anything. But yeah, he's finished. And Kandu comes to life, and Kandu basically reanimates, gets all the skin back, goes back to his prime, and he looks like Jonathan Chiller. Why does he look like Jonathan Chiller? Because it's a big ass Kayula to anybody who is expecting Horrorland. Because it's not going to be Horrorland. It's going to be Kandu bringing horror to the land, Port Lawrence. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be another clickbait title, I'm telling you. Kandu is apparently Jonathan Chiller. Apparently he runs Horrorland. I don't even think we're going to get the amusement park. It's going to be some bullshit. It's just going to be another clickbait title. And yeah, that's how the episode ends. And then Isaiah's dad pulls up again to talk about Mr. Brat. You know, why are you making this book? This is not a good idea. And he gets turned into a puppet. And thank God that he got turned into a puppet, because Isaiah's dad cannot act either. Every time he's on screen, he's hitting the Steve Harvey face. That's all he can do. That's all. Every time he's on screen, he just goes. That's all he can do. He can't act. None of these people can act. And I can't act any further. I'm done with this review. I'm tired, y'all. This show sucks. This is going in the Hall of Fame doo-doo garbage. I mean, seriously, this is some of the laziest, worst writing I've seen. This episode's getting a 1 out of 10. The lowest episode at this point was episode 7, which got a 2 out of 10. This is getting a 1 out of 10. This is garbage. The worst episode in the season. There's one more episode after this. It's going to drop in a couple days. I'm not at all excited for it. It's going to be more clickbait, and it's going to wrap up the tomb of this show, and hopefully it gets cremated, because I don't want to see a season 2. For the love of God, keep the creep show zombies out of this. I don't need the show coming back out of the dead. Put it 6 feet under. Put it under steel reinforced doors. And then cremate the body on the inside. And then hit it with a nuclear bomb. And that's all I have to say. Fuck this show. Fuck the writers. Fuck I'm Not Starfire. Fuck the teenagers. Fuck Mr. Brat. Fuck all those hours that I wasted watching this show. And fuck Disney. That's it. That's all for this review. The only thing I don't want you to say fuck to is hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Hit those. Hit subscribe, hit like. It's free. It'll give you more enjoyment than it would watching this show. You don't want to be loyal to Disney? Well, be loyal to me. I would appreciate that. So again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and that's all I have for today. 1 out of 10, doo-doo garbage, worst episode in the show. Thank God this stuff is almost over, and we can move on to better things. Cheers to that. Even the doo-doo potion hits like that Jack Daniels. You know what I mean? Alright, that's it for this review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye. I really flushed the toilet in the beginning of the video for y'all. If that's not enough reason to hit subscribe and hit like, I don't know what is.